You guys want to know about Jing Yuan and why you need his light cone? Well, maybe not need his light cone. I'm gonna answer your questions about Jing. Henshin a go baby, what's good guys? Yoku here, and a lot of you have been asking me the questions on whether or not Jing Yuan's light cones are worth it. And by light cones, I mean if it's even worth pulling for Jing Yuan if you don't get his 5-star light cone and you don't have anything to do with the 4-star light cones. And I'm here to tell you that you don't necessarily need the 5-star light cone, but maybe showing you is a better way to explain this. Before we get into that, and let me explain Jing Yuan. Its function is very simple but powerful. Deals over 100% of its lightning damage to everyone, not just one character, not just one enemy, not just the adjacent enemies. Everyone on the field gets zapped by at least 100% of his lightning damage. Of course, 100% being when you level up the skill itself, but for simplistic purposes, it's going to start at 50% of his lightning damage. He has Lightning Lord, which is going to be your persona. I always talk about that. And anytime Jing Yuan uses his skill or ultimate, going to increase Lightning Lord's count by 2 or 3 respectively. Lightning Lord has a base speed of 60 and it goes up to a max count of 10. Each amount of its own lightning damage is also equal to X% of Jing Yuan's attacks. So that goes from 33% all the way up to 72%, meaning that every time Jing Yuan attacks, this is going to stack up on Lightning Lord's damage, otherwise increasing that X%. And the X% is not like a static one, right? It means that every single attack, every single count counts as its own X% of damage. And Lightning Lord already has his own set amount of damage that he's going to do by himself. Now you're stacking that on top of every count. The speed of Lightning Lord also increases by 10 with every count that he has. The only downside to Persona is literally the fact that if Jing Yuan can't act, i.e. if he's frozen, then Lightning Lord can't act. But this is literally a Persona. I call it a Persona for a reason. I'm not saying that because Persona is my favorite JRPG. Anyway, on to the light cones. I have it here for you guys so that you can see a little bit. And if you see me looking down, it's because I have some notes that I wrote down about each light cone in particular to help me correlate my thoughts. Now, going into Before Dawn, this is going to be his 5-star light cone here. And then you're going to have Night of the Milky Way. This is going to be Himiko's. And the reason you're seeing both is because of Erudition. Can you guys read this? Let me help you. All right, so now you guys can see what I can see. All right, and so in the case of Milky Way, this light cone isn't bad, but it's not what Jing Yuan wants. The reason it's not what Jing Yuan wants is because when you start to read these light cones, when you guys get a hold of the game or you come to this predwin.gg website, you can see all the descriptions here. And Himiko's is for every enemy on the field, increase the wearer's attack by 8%, up to 16%, up to 5 times. So it stacks up to 5 times. When an enemy is inflicted with weakness break, the wearer's damage increases by 24 up to 48% for that one turn. And so in short, what this basically means is every time Himiko like hits her condition to get the 3 weakness break attacks, and then the little chainsaw comes out and goes brrr, that is for Himiko. So this light cone is specifically for Himiko. Whenever that happens, her damage increases immediately for that follow-up attack. Now, if she happens to get the weakness break and she also gets the damage increased that turn that she's coming into playing the game, right? Like playing her turn, then she's of course going to have that damage increase as well during that turn. So this all applies to Himiko. How does this apply to Jing Yuan? It doesn't. Applying the weakness break is cool, you know, but this right here increases for one turn that may or may not apply to Lightning Lord. I haven't tested that because I didn't use this one with Jing Yuan, but I don't think this applies at all. This increases the wearer's attack up to 5 times. This is okay, but one thing to note is that once this enemy goes away, so if I zap all the enemies on the field and 4 out of 5 of them die, I lose 4 out of, what is that, 8 times 4 is 24. I lose 24% of my attack, right, that I just gained from having them on the field. So it kind of just sucks if you don't kill them all in one shot. When it comes to Before Dawn, however, this thing is a monster, a powerhouse of a light cone, and is designed for Jing Yuan. And let me state this as a pretense. Me and what I'm about to say about this, like I'm gonna gas the hell out of this light cone. I'm telling you that right now. It doesn't mean that the other options don't work. There's just it's a high bar, okay? So let's say that this can of Juvie, the bar for where the 4 stars are at the Juvie line, right? It's normal, it's average, right? But Jing Yuan's his light cone is way up here, okay? That's basically what Jing Yuan's light cone does. It's like taking a Saiyan, we all know what a Saiyan is from Dragon Ball, and then making it a Super Saiyan, right? The 4-star options are a Saiyan. Before Dawn, the 5-star light cone turns Jing Yuan into a Super Saiyan. Jing Yuan will always perform what Jing Yuan's function wants to do. Blow everybody up, zap them all to death, and call it a day, right? GG's no re. Before Dawn lets him do that twice as good. twice as effective. Now this is going to increase the wearer's crit damage by 32%, right? I'm going to stick with the lower numbers because it's a 5-star and we're not superimposing 5 stars. We don't condone that here. It's going to increase the wearer's skill and ultimate damage by 20%. So not only are you increasing Jing Yuan's crit damage and ultimate damage, boom, right? You're also increasing your Somnus Corpus is a little, I don't know why they call it this, but it's some kind of fancy term, an attribute, but that applies to the persona. Guess what, right? The follow-up attack damage increases by 48%. Okay, let me read this whole thing so you understand it. After the wearer uses their skill or ultimate, so pretty much every time Jing Yuan attacks, they gain Somnus Corpus. What's Somnus Corpus? It is going to be this weird attribute, this aftermath thing, right? Upon triggering a follow-up attack, oh my goodness, here it comes. Somnus Corpus will be consumed and the follow-up attack damage increases by 48%. That's almost 50%. Whoa. Guys, listen, I'm going to teach you something real quick. I know you know it. I know you know we're going to play Dora the Explorer. What counts as a follow-up attack in relation to Jing Yuan? Yes, sir. There we go. The persona counts as a follow-up attack. Thank you. I knew you guys knew it. You're so smart. Now, with that in mind, that means that every time Jing Yuan attacks, the persona is going to get a buff. And because the light cone itself is buffing Jing Yuan, he's also getting this buff. Not only is his crit damage getting skyrocketed to a point where you don't even need to invest into it too much. Granted, you still want to do like the 2-to-1 ratio or the 1-to-2 ratio or whatever, but now you can focus more on getting the crit rate up. So if he can crit all the time, guess who else can crit all the time? The persona. Yes, that's how it works. Answering the question on the 4 stars, right? All of these 4 stars are not this one. Ignore this one. Today is another peaceful day. I have this as like in my notes is written as don't even bother. If this is the only option you have, sure, shoot it. But if not, don't even bother with this. It's just not worth it. If we go with make the world clamor, the wearer regenerates energy upon immediately entering the battle. That's fine, right? You're gonna get your ultimate a little bit quicker, and you're gonna increase your ultimate damage by 24. So you know, it ain't 5-star, but it's good, right? It's good because it increases your ultimate damage. That's cool. All right. The birth of the self increases the damage dealt by the wearer's follow-up attacks by 24%. Okay, here we go. Persona. That's cool. And if the current HP of the target enemy is below 50% of their max HP, it's going to increase the damage dealt by follow-up attacks by an extra 16%. Okay. We could work with that, right? We could work with that. I think that's what, 24, 10, that's 34, 6, 4. That is 10, that's 40%, right? That's 40%. We could do something with 40%, right, guys? Okay, so having a 40% extra increase, and 9 times out of 10, after Jing Yuan attacks something and the team blows through it, they're going to be below 50% HP anyway, which means that the persona can get some pickups. The birth of the self is probably the one that I would shoot for the most when it comes to the 4-star options if I'm going for Jing Yuan. And then the second one will probably be the seriousness of breakfast. These two could go hand in hand because they both serve different purposes, but they still let Jing Yuan do a little bit more damage than he would do compared to the other 2 light cones here. Breakfast is going to increase the wearer's damage by 12%. And for the sake of this, I'm going to say they're maxes, right? So this increases by 32%. This increases by 48%. That's being the birth of the self. And then breakfast is going to increase by 24% and 8%. Why do I say the maxes for the 4 stars and not the 5 stars? It's so much easier to superimpose a 4-star light cone or a 4-star weapon than it is to superimpose a 5-star light cone. So that's why I say that. And lastly, every defeated enemy, the wearer's attack is going to increase by 4 to 8%, stacking up to 4 times. The stack is huge. So not only are you increasing your overall damage when it comes to breakfast, and yes, this does include the Lightning Lord's damage as well because it's part of that kit. And then you're also increasing the wearer's attack by 4%, stacking up to 4 times. And again, a Lightning Lord's ability, or rather his attack stat, is off of Jing Yuan's attack, right? It's a percentage, I think it's 33% of the base of Jing Yuan's attack. So if you increase Jing Yuan's attack stat in the first place, well, guess what? Persona also gets its attack stat increase. So no matter what, you're rocking out. You guys don't have to be so mindful of not being able to get a 5-star light cone in comparison to Jing Yuan. I've seen so many people kind of like downplaying Jing Yuan and trying to, I don't know if there's this weird Zila versus Jing Yuan thing going on around the community lately where it's like, I'm a Zila stan, so all Jing Yuans must die. Like, I don't know what's going on with that. But just because Zila has better options, right, for her light cones that aren't the 5 stars, does not make her the best thing in the world. Like, she's not the best thing since sliced bread. And because Jing Yuan's light cone is so damn good, right, it turns him into a Super Saiyan, it doesn't mean that if you can't pull it, don't pull the character. Now, quick tidbit, and this will have its own video. I'm just going to say it here for the people that have made it all the way this far. Think of it like a little secret tip, right? Let me know in the comments down below if you made it this far in the video. Where the meta is going to go, or where this game is going to shape and shift into, is pretty much going to be the fact that most of the characters, right? Most of the characters here are going to have a 5-star item. And this 5-star item, I talked about this briefly in Genshin Impact. There's a whole video where I discussed it about Yelan and the Aqua Simulacra. And I said that now Genshin Impact is entering a meta where weapons are going to be designed for a limited number of characters. Instead of being very broad, they're very limited, right? We're in between. Star Rail is in between Honkai Impact and Genshin Impact, where a few characters can use these light cones, right? But the light cone itself specifically will give something to the signature character. And in Honkai, it's very similar, right? You can use one of the signature weapons for whoever in Honkai Impact, but they're only going to give that skill to that signature character. And this is where we're going, right? Zila's whole thing can apply to anybody, but Zila's thing here, all of this is to benefit Zila, okay? Welt's thing, right? This could apply to anybody within the Nihility class or Nihility path, but all of this is to benefit Welt. Of course, we've already talked about Jing Yuan. Cruising in the Stellar Sea is a 5-star option that's going to be the equivalent of In the Night. So if you have the Hunt class, you're going to want to shoot for Cruising in the Stellar Sea. That's an amazing light cone. But yeah, of course, now it's already talked about Milky Way. But I am going to leave you guys with that, and that'll be its own video. Like I said, I can't give you all the stuff, right? Anyway, I can't say my usual outro because it's inappropriate for YouTube. Like the video if you liked it, or if you want to, comment down below if you made it this far. Subscribe if you want to, because we're on the road to 10K. And watch this video if you want to know more about whether or not you should pull for Jing Yuan or Zila, and why one of their banners is technically the best banner we're getting in 1.0. Smell you later.